Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday. Sorry for the delay in posting this video. As you can see from my face, I'm not feeling well. Doctor said I might have the flu. They weren't 100% sure, but I haven't been feeling so great. So this video is a little bit delayed, but we gotta get it done. So it's gotta get done. So here we go. Today we're learning Perek Gimel, the third Perek of Pesachim. Baruch Hashem, moving along. Today's shiur is Lila Nishmas Michal Yosef ben Nachum David, Aaron Nachum ben Simcha Cohen, Yeshua Mordechai ben Shepsel, Bracha Sarah Shmuel Leib, and Binah Moshe ben Yosef. May the Shabbos will have an aliyah. I'm a foolish slave for Adasar Basleya, Chana Pesach Basyanta, Yisrael ben Rachalea, Rachel bas Pesach Zelda, Avram Yitzchak ben Risha, and Chaya bas David Bela. Foolish Lena was so sharp, Holy Yisrael. Okay. Perek Gimel, Mishnah Aleph. Um, Elu over the Pesach. These substances must be removed on Pesach since they are not allowed to be in one's possessions. Kutach habavli. Kutach, Babylonian kutach, is from sour milk and moldy breadcrumbs. Rabbi Stefanski once demonstrated what kutach was on his Daf Yomi shiur a couple years ago. I was not in the room. I think he demonstrated during COVID, actually, when he did Pesachim, probably. But you can see from the video that it was very smelly and just terrible. The Sheikh Hamadi, a Median beer, and beer back in the times of Mishnah was made from dates. It was not normally chametz, but this beer was made from barley, the Medea, from a Paris and Mud, like from the Perm story. They made beer from barley. And most beers now are made from like wheat or barley or hops or whatever that stuff is. Chametz ha'adomi Idumean vinegar, which is also made with barley. Zeisam hamitri, an Egyptian zisel. This is made from barley, saffron, and salt. Now we're going to talk about chametz nuksha. Chametz nuksha means chametz that's not fit to eat. The zuman shel saboim, the bran water that's used by dyers, which they will produce the dyes. The milan shel tabach, and the milan that's used by cooks. It's the type of bread made from young, unripe grain, where which a cook would place over the mouth of a pot to absorb the froth and bad smell. The kulan shel sofrim, and a scribe's glue. It's like a paste-like glue that's made from the flour dust and millstones used by scribes, their sofrim, to bind together their scrolls. Rebbe says, af tachshite nashim, even women's cosmetics, and are made with chametz and used by women to remove facial hair. Although these cosmetics contain only chametz nuksha, Rebbe Eliezer rules that one may not own them on Pesach. This is the rule according to Rebbe Eliezer. One transgresses the issur of owning chametz on Pesach, anything made from a species of grain that has been chametz. The following are substances that can be eaten to eat on Pesach by the following substances that are usher to be eaten on Pesach by is a doraisa. Ve'ein behen mishum kares, but there's no penalty of kares in. Sorry, the things that we just said above are usher to eat up din doraisa, but there's no chiyuv kares in them. It's a lav. Mishnah Beis Batzek should be Sidkei Areva if yesh kazayis v'makim echad chayav l'vayir v'lo bata b'mi'uta v'chin inyan tum v'chin inyan hatum. Okay, the dough that is found in the cracks of a kneading trough, which is left in place to seal the cracks, is considered treated as follows. If there's an hour's volume of dough in one place, the zayis, and the owner is chayav to dispose of it, since it's not considered to be part of the trough. Being law, but if there's no hour's volume in one place, batal b'mi'uto, it is batal due to its significantness. It's considered part of the kneading trough and is not considered food. Therefore, it need not be removed and disposed of before Pesach. So too in regards to the laws of Tumah. If it's such a small amount, then it's not considered part of the trough in regards to Tumah. If he's particularly bad, he doesn't want to leave the dough in the crack and is planning to move it, then the dough is not considered part of the trough, and it serves as a chatzitza, a barrier to the tumah. If he wants to remain there, the dough is considered part of the trough. Therefore, when the tumah touches the dough, it makes the entire trough tummy. Basik acheresh with silent dough. What's a silent dough? Usually, you can bang on a dough and hear a thump, which indicates that the dough has leavened and has become chametz. The dough that the Mishnah now discusses has been left for some time, but does not produce any sound. Therefore, we are not sure whether it's actually chametz or whether the dough is not yet chametz. So regarding silent dough, if there exists a similar dough that is needed at the same time, and we can see that it has become chametz, I raise the usher, and the silent dough is also usher, since we assume that it too has become chametz. Mr. Gimel, Ketzad, Mafrish, and Challah B'tumah B'yativ. How do we separate Challah from dough that is in a state of tumah on the Pesach? It can't be left as dough since it will become chametz. It can't be baked since we can bake on Yontif, only things will be in that day, and Challah that is tameh cannot even be eaten by a Kohen. So therefore it cannot be burned, and it can't be burned because it is usher to burn Truma and Challah on Yontif. So that then how should we how then should someone make a tummy dough on Yontif deal with his obligation to separate Challah from it? Whereas the Rambam Lezer says, Lo Sikra Lashem Archite shouldn't designate a portion of this challah until it's baked. So don't be mafresh challah until after it's baked. You make the loaves in the dough, bake them with the matzah, and then designate them one of them as one of the matzahs as challah. I think Alech Lamaisa nowadays when you bake challah on the Erev Shabbos or Yontif, not including Pesach. So you're mafresh challah from the raw dough. If you ever go to a matzah bakery, the meaning of the matzah bakery is that first you bake all the matzahs, and then from the baked matzahs, that's when you're mafresh challah from the baked matzahs. So that no isser of chametz lying around. You take all the matzahs together, and you make mafresh challah from the baked matzahs. So it's the same thing over here. So first you bake it, and then you call it challah. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says, Tatil b'tzonen, she should separate the challah from the dough and put it into a cold water to prevent it from becoming chametz. It can then be seen until nightfall and be burned after Yontif. Rabbi Yeshua, excuse me, those who chametz and musharim alav v'al yira v'al yimatzeh. This piece of challah, even if it becomes chametz, is not in the same category of chametz concerning which we are warned. It shall not be seen and it shall not be found. Ela farshta umunachta ada erev in hechmitza. Rather, she separates it from the dough and leaves it until evening, and it becomes chametz. And if it becomes chametz, it becomes chametz. It's a no concern since she does not own it. Mr. Dalid, Rabbi Gamliel Omer. Gamliel says, Shalosh nashim lashes ke'achas. Three women can knead their own batches of dough at one time, but avos b'tanur echadzu achazu. They can bake them in one oven, one after the other. Although the second dough will be left alone while the first one is baked, and the third will be left while the first and second ones are baked, we are not concerned that they will become chametz in this relatively short time. Chachamim say shalosh nashim askos bebatzik. Rather, the Chachamim said that none of the doughs can be left alone even for a moment. Rather, each of the three women must be busy with her dough all the time. Achas lashem, achas oreches, achas ofe. While one woman kneads her dough, another one shapes her dough into loaves, another one bakes her dough. Meaning, only one woman needs one. Each one does one job at a time. And when they're finished, they rotate. Rabbi Akiva says, "Lo kol hanashim, lo kol ha'etz, lo kol ha'tanurim." So not all women, not all wood, and not all ovens are alike. Since there are many unpredictable factors in the baking process, we cannot tell how long the baking will take. Therefore, it is wrong to leave one dough unattended while another dough is being baked, because the baking might take so long that the unattended dough will turn into chametz. Rather, each dough must be worked on at all the time. Zeh is the rule. Tafach tiltosh b'tzonin. If it swells, she should moisten her hands with cold water and smear the water over the dough, because the coldness slows down the leavening process. Mishnah Hey, Seor Yisarev, Seor, dough that has started to rise must be burned, but one who eats it on Pesach is not punished with kares or malchus. Sidok Yisarev, however, cracked dough which has leavened more than sa'ir must be burned. The achol chayv kares, the one who eats it is punished with kares because it is absolute chametz. Ezus Seor, what is Seor? Karnich Agavim, dough that has developed cracks like the antennas of locusts, meaning short cracks that do not cross over one another. Siduk, what is cracked dough? Should is arvu sadkov. Dough that is so severely cracked that it cracks, that cracks cross over one another. Different Yehuda, this is according to Yehuda. The Chachamim say, Zev is the ochlo chayv kares. In either case, whether the cracks cross over or not, is cracked dough, and one who eats it is punished with kares. The ezus or what that is seor for which there is no kares. Any dough whose surface is turned pale, like the face of a person whose hair stands on end because of fright. Because according to the Chaim, as soon as the dough turns pale, even before it develops cracks, it is seor, which must be burned. When cracks begin to show, it is absolutely chametz. Abara Asar Shechalias B'Shabbos. On the 14th of Nisan, Erev Pesach falls on Shabbos, as it does periodically. Mivar, I think it was last year we had Erev Pesach on Shabbos, if I'm not mistaken. Before we a couple of days Shabbos, we dispose of. Excuse me. It is no fun to be sick and give shit. God, I keep plugging through. We'll get done. We'll get through it. We'll get better. So, Erev Pesach falls on Shabbos. Mevarim as a couple Shabbos. We dispose of all the chametz before Shabbos. We destroy, meaning we destroy on Friday all chametz that we do not expect to eat on Shabbos. We keep enough only for the Shabbos meals that we will not have to destroy chametz on Shabbos. This is according to the Meir. We dispose of all the chametz at the usual time, even though it is Shabbos. According to the Chachamim, a person may keep as much chametz as he wants for Shabbos, because all of it will presumably be eaten, if not by him and his family, then by guests or by animals. Obviously, you cannot light a fire on Shabbos to burn your chametz, but you can still destroy it other ways. You can throw it down the toilet or put bleach on it or whatever, and put out to the garbage cans. In some communities, they have like a special garbage pickup on Erev Pesach, even if it's on Shabbos, by the local municipality, and that's fine. Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok says Truma b'lefnei Shabbos. We dispose of chametz that is Truma before Shabbos. Chulin b'zmanan. We dispose of ordinary non-sacred chametz at its usual time. Since Truma is usher to not combine with animals, if one leaves more than he needs for his Shabbos meals, it'll be hard for him to have it all eaten, and he will likely have to destroy it on Shabbos. Therefore, one may not save more than necessary. In the case of ordinary chametz, however, any amount may be left for Shabbos because it will be eaten by guests or animals. Mishnah Zayin, Haholech. This is a famous case. Haholech lishchot es pischo. We know that there are two. Haholech lishchot es pischo. Someone is traveling the 14th of Nisan to slaughter his Pesach offering. Or to circumcise the son. Both of them are a chiyuv kares. The Korban Pesach and Bris Milah are the only two mitzvahs in the Torah that are a chiyuv kares. If the mitzvahs aseh that are a chiyuv kares if they're not done, all the other chiyuv kares are mitzvahs los aseh. So you read one of these two situations, or to eat from the Suda of Suda's Erisin back in the day. Erisin and Yisuin were done like 12 months apart. Now we do it all together like on the chuppah at the same time. So someone was going to a Suda's Erisin at the house of his father-in-law, or to do any other mitzvah. So while on the road, he remembers that he has chametz in his house. And the law is as follows. If he's able to go and to return home, destroy his chametz, then go back to perform his mitzvah, then he should return home and destroy his chametz. Since destroying the chametz will not prevent him from performing the mitzvah, he should do both. But if he is not able to return home and have enough time to do the mitzvah, he can be mevatel the chametz in his mind and does not have to go back to destroy it. He may rely on bittul alone so that he will not lose the mitzvah. The adhering. If one is on the way to rescue people from a dangerous group of idolaters, or from a flooding river, or from bandits, from a fire, or from a collapsed building, and he remembers that he has chametz in his house, even if he does not have enough time to return and destroy the chametz and then come back to rescue the endangered people, Yavata Belibo, even if he does have enough time, even if he does have enough time, Yavata Belibo, he can still nullify it in his heart, doesn't have to go back to destroy it. In these cases, when he's involved in saving lives, because nefesh, he does not destroy his chametz, even if he can do so without risk to the rescue mission. However, if he's on the way to establish a residence for an optional purpose, meaning he's traveling before Yom Tov to establish a residence, he can go beyond his tchum and Yom Tov as discussed back at Erevin. So it's not necessarily a mitzvah, and he remembers that he has chametz in his house, Yaksum Yad, he should return at once to dispose of it. Since his journey is not related to a mitzvah, and he's not saving people, You cannot rely on bittul alone, but he must return home to destroy the chametz. And the last Mishnah for today, Mishnah Ches. Someone left Yerushalayim and remember that he has Basar Kodesh, the sacred meat with him. So the halacha is as follows: if he's already passed by Tzofim, Har Tzofim, this is where you can see the Har Bayis from. Sarfim and Kamo, he burns it where he is. Once he has traveled that far, the Chacham did not trouble him to return to Yerushalayim. We say Yerushalayim, I'm talking about the old city. But if he has not yet passed Har Tzofim, Choser, the sorrowful they have bira mi'atzim arach. He must return to Yerushalayim and he may burn it for the bira with the wood of the mizbeach. How for how much chametz or basar kodesh does one have to return? Mary says zev and zev kibetza. In both this case and that case, he returns for an egg's vayim. He did not return unless the chametz or meat is at least as large as an egg. Yehuda says that Chazayas in both this case and that case he returns even for an owl's volume. On the Chacham say Basar Kodesh Chazayas. In the case of Basar Kodesh, he returns for an owl's volume. The chametz b'kibetza, in the case of chametz, he returns for the size of an egg. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow with Perek. Have a wonderful day.